Hello my friends, welcome to another tournament report. This one is excessively delayed, as they often are, but I've been a little bit busy doing kind of Clash of Kings stuff and life, and it's summer holidays, and no one's complaining, but if you were complaining, I'd tell you to stop complaining. This is a tournament report from Battlemasters, the world's oldest Kings of War tournament, predates version 1. It's a 2,500 points run by the wonderful Sharad. It is a 4-game tournament with 55-minute clocks at 2,500 points. Yes, you heard me right. And yes, that's just as painful as you might imagine it would be. It's in Loughborough, and this is the list I took. So if you watched my battle report against Simon, you will notice this is the same list because that was a practice game. Simon was there too. I didn't play him just as well because he beat me in our practice game. But if you haven't watched that battle report, what's wrong with you? How dare you? Anyway, I've got 2 hordes of warriors, 4 hordes of shock troops with plague pots, 2 hordes of wretches, 3 weapon teams, 1 tangle, a war chief who's got the vicious aura and the sacred horn, a birthing daughter who I've given the loot of insatiable darkness to so she can do Bane chant. She has an aura of Strider that only affects the warriors and the wretches. And I have 2 broodmothers and Mother Chrysler. So this is my attempt at a Ratkin kind of trash list. It started off as 9 hordes of warriors and then got worse. I had to borrow a lot of Ratkin from Simon to play it because I thought I had 8 hordes of rats. I had 8 regiments. So the shock troops are mine. Everything else is Simon's infantry-wide. Yeah, and in fact one of the broodmothers is his as well. So there you go. Anyway, quite a fun little list to play. Quite silly. You know, it's just lots and lots and lots of rats. You will notice I have labelled the warriors and the wretches to make it easy for both myself and my opponents to remember what is what. And so into game 1, which was against Andy and his Nightstalkers. This, of course, is Andy 2d6 off of the internet. He's very famous. We've played on each other's channels. It's 1-1, and this is the first time we've met in a tournament. I challenged him for this game, so if it goes wrong, it's all my fault. And this is what he brought. He brought a legion of bloodworms with Brew of Sharpness. That's terrifying. That's 40 attacks on 3s. Wow. Anyway, a troop of tormentors. These are the new ones who've got a rule called Leaper, which means that so they're height 2, but when it comes to charging, they are considered height 3. So they can jump over their own stuff, which is kind of cool, isn't it? You only got one of those, though. 2 hordes of regular butchers and 2 hordes of ravagers, the new ranged butchers with void cannons, the new filth. Just the 1 regiment of soul flares with a blade of slashing. A mind screech, to which he has upgraded to be a planar apparition for some heal, just to keep those bloodworms from never dying. 2 shadow hulks, a portal of despair, and a void lurker with dwarven ale. I was incredibly pleased to see that he did not put any terrors into his list. And he said to me, but I haven't got any models. And I looked at his shadow hulks and thought, you could have used your shadow hulks, and then didn't say that. But I think I might have said that. But I would have just taken all terrors, but that's just because I'm an idiot. Yeah, so it's all right. It's a mixed list, very mixed arms list. I think the bloodworms are the biggest concern. Double ravagers. I mean, butchers I'm never really worried about because they hit on 4s, and I just don't care about things that hit on 4s because that just is me. So it should be interesting to play against. I didn't feel like I was totally outmatched against it. I've got a lot of nerve, and plus I turned up at the tournament wearing my Andy 2d6 t-shirt. Look. Oh no, that's not it. Let's go and look at it. Whoa, do this first. Whoa. There it is. Andy 2d6. And that's Andy 2d6. Next to Andy, he wasn't even wearing orange. Oh, what's wrong with him? Maybe he's feeling poorly. Right, so this was our board. This is one of the Battlemasters boards. So we have 2 height 3 enormously high hills. Look at how ridiculously high that is. I complained because I'm that guy. We have 2 height 9 forests. 2 height. Oh, there's 2 height 6 towers. Where's the other one? There it is. 2 height 6 towers. A piece of height flat terrain over here that I forgot to label. And then 2 height 2 walls. Okay, pretty standard, and we are playing push with 3 tokens each. So yeah, off we crack. There we are again, and this is how we deploy. So we're pushing. So Andy has put, you'll see in a minute, I'll go close up, he's both of his hordes of butchers here. This is a Ravager and this is a Ravager. Okay, he's got a Shadow Hulk here, a Shadow Hulk here. I think that is the Mind Screech, that one I think, and that one is the Portal of Despair. There's his flying stuff, there's his leapy stuff. That's the Giant Legion, and that's his Void Lurker, which is very nicely painted. He's done kind of starry things in the wings, which is cool. And you can see I have deployed. So there'll be a token in the center right here. Okay, that's the key one. He's obviously going to put all his tokens on his Bloodworms. We'll see that in a minute. So I've just decided to play on this side of the board. This is where I will be playing. This does not exist to me. Okay. So I've gone Warriors, Wretches, Warriors, Wretches. You can see I've labelled them very handily for this battle report. Spot the person with battle reports. This is Mother Chrysler here. So she's a relatively new addition to this, and she is just here to get into the mix and give Cloak of Death to stuff, because that's fun. This is Shock Troop, Shock Troop, Shock Troop, Shock Troop. There's the Tangle. And then we have, this is a Brood Mum, this is a Brood Mum. This one is the War Chief, and this one is the Birthing Daughter. And there's my 3 War Engines. What's the plan with push? Plan with push is to put the tokens on this Shock Troop horde here. I think I can take care of these 2 Butcher hordes with all of this pretty handily. Pretty quickly as well. And then I'll be able to swing into the center to murder the Bloodworms, taking all of the tokens. Right? These guys are just literally a staying action to keep everything on that half of the board while Murder Town comes over here. That's the plan. Let's see how we do. Oh, there's my army again. Very nice. There we go, butchers. A little bit of a close-up there of some really disgusting miniatures. Just gross. Very nice. And there's 3 tokens. These are my tokens that I gave away at a recent tournament, and I painted them. And I thought they were cool. So there's 3 on the Bloodworms, and there's 3 on my... these used to be... what were they used to be called? The ones that had Ensnare and Stealthy or something. I can't remember what they were called. Whatever. Anyway. Swig of a drink, and we're off. So I lost turn 1, and Andy took it. So he pushed forward with the butchers because he's not scared of anything on that side. And a kind of a little bit more of a cautious advance on the other side. The only bit that wasn't cautious was his Void Lurker, who did the classic go 20 and turn. So it's hiding down behind this building, ready to kind of jump on me the minute I jump into the center. Yep, and there's some more stuff waiting to jump on me. This battle report, by the way, has already been on Andy's channel, so if you want to watch it from his point of view, maybe watch it at the same time and try and absorb me in one ear and Andy in the other. That sounds horrific for everyone. So there we go. That's how it looks into turn 1, and I respond very aggressively, so I am just pushing forward. The great thing about this army is nothing in it matters. Nothing in it matters at all. It's all garbage. So... the Warriors just pushed as far forward as possible. One thing I learned in trying to do this army is you don't want to be moving in terrain ever. It just means you lose. Everything needs a clear path. And these boards are light, very light on terrain. They are slightly larger bits of terrain, I guess, but inconvenient. So Warriors push up. The Butchers are going to have to engage them. This one might be able to get here, whether they want to or not, I don't know. Everything else just pushes forward in a line. With my supporting stuff, I think Chrysler's here for some lightning bolts somewhere. Pew, pew, pew. And the Tangler's going to probably try for a Mind Fog on something. I'm going to guess it's probably over here somewhere anyway. But, oh, there's the Void Lurker. There you can see the Void Lurker's peeping out. And I've denied him the opportunity of flanking anything yet. I denied the opportunity of doing that a lot. I've got my War Chief here. He's very, very good at pinning down flyers. So if he does choose to... Well, see, actually he can't. If he did choose to come this way and turn, the War Chief could pin him down. However, you see how he's positioned it here this way. Means that he can't. So I measured 10 and made sure that there was nowhere for him to land here. So that was the tactic there. Seems to have worked. And there's my double one off of my Mind Fog. I think I Mind Fogged something and then immediately double one it, which is a nice way to start the game, isn't it? On to turn 2. I like these signs, by the way. This is the table signs and they've got terrain on it. That's excellent, isn't it? Yeah, very nice. So, turn 2, this is how we look. I was very clearly good at taking pictures at the beginning. That definitely gets worse as we go on. So both butchers come into my warriors. Boo. Everything else just kind of moves around in an arc. So what he does is he sends both Shadow Hulks. One into these warriors and one into these wretches. Because he wants to stop me moving forward. He wants to grab the token. He wants to just hold me back here as much as possible. That's fine, actually, because that also plays into what I want to do, which is to murder, and come in. So we're both playing the same game, which is nice. We're helping each other. However, his shooting was off the scale. So that is 16 wounds from the Ravager shooting onto these wretches. They are defense 2. And these are some very old models, as you can see. Now you've got them up nice and close. Painted by Simon's dad, I believe. Anyway, that, I don't know what. Oh, that's a wind blast. That's a 1-inch wind blast. Good job. That's from the Soul Flares. And he wavered my wretches with those 16 wounds. It's pretty unlucky to not kill them, to be honest. I mean, they are a 23, so what he needed is 7 twice, so that's probably why. And the butchers, unfortunately, did not do great. Hitting on 4s is sometimes just be like that. And there is 15 wounds, and they are also a 23 nerve, so that would have been an 8 twice. So, yeah, wavered there as well. So, 2 waivers. I do have an Aura of Fury. This Shadow Hulk, though, has knocked it out of the park. 10 wounds. I don't know how many attacks he had, but 10 wounds. Onto the Warriors. They're okay. 10 wounds from that one, too. So they're just crushing face. That's what they're doing. Good for them. On to my turn, too. So I do something which I thought was cool. I don't know if it's cool or not, but I enjoyed it. So let's go back and show you what I did. Right, over here. Can't really see. Well, let's begin the turn maybe. So his Shadow Hulk comes here, right? So whoops, we know that his Shadow Hulk is here, and I have this horde here, which is in the flank of the Shadow Hulk. So basically, everything moves. So with the new charging rules, this horde of warriors shifts down to here, which allows these guys to. So we measured, and actually these were slightly behind the rear here. So these shock troops would come forwards, turn. Everything here went over there, right? They turned and they came straight along the edge of this into the flank of the Shadow Hulk there. Is that clear? If it's not, guess what? Tough on you. That's what happened. You just about see there that the edge, there's a fraction of, well, not with, you don't know if you draw wobbly lines like that, but if that's the edge of his base, let's just draw along there. I can't draw very well today. Oh, man. There we go. You can see. Right? There you go. Beautiful. So the shock troops came up, turned that way, and just went straight into his flank there, and then slid all the bloody way down to about there. I think if you've got the chance to flank a Shadow Hulk, you just do it. Because it's just fun. So there's the flank. There you go. And I've slid all the way down. And then I was thinking, my actual thought when I did this was, okay, you know, if I don't kill it, I'm going to get flanked by Ravagers over this hedge, both of them. I'm kind of cool with that because it's on 5s. There's a lot of attacks, but it's still on 5s. And they're crush 1, right? So 5s and 3s, which isn't necessarily going to kill me. So I was okay with it. You'll see how that played out. And then we had, so this War Chief legged it. I don't know why he legged it here to get Vicious, that's right. So he moved 12 right up to the edge of the forest so that his 6-inch Vicious aura hit them. So they're now in the flank. They are hitting on 5s, but then they are wounding. I don't know if I did a Bane chant or not, but they've got Vicious on it. Drain life here onto this Shadow Hulk to help out these wretches. I moved these guys back just slightly, and that's again to stop him jumping over here. Yep. And then, so you can see here, it's very hard with this enormous hill to fit things, but we've got one of these weapon teams is actually there. One is actually, yeah. Basically, I'm going to get 3 shots with cover because we're over the warriors, but 3 weapon teams and a Cloak of Death and Lightning Bolt and this little attack here because I'm wavered. So we just backed up and shot pretty much at one of these, and then we're going to let the warriors die and then come in with the shock troops to kill. That's my plan. That's Cloak of Death. And that's a dead Shadow Hulk. So we did it. Yay, 18 wounds, pretty good, right? 18 wounds. It's a flank and a front, both on 5s, but you know, that's what is it, 75 attacks? More than that, 80 attacks on 5s. So you're going to get quite a few hits and then quite a few wounds. I think I missed the Bane Chant. And that's as far as I could turn, so I was just expecting a flank at that point. On to turn 3 for Andy. And that's the state of play, and I have missed something. So critical error, it was a critical error or not, it was an error. This Butcher Horde here, that I did bugger all wounds to, I don't know how many, I think there's a few more than one that I got from there, I think there's a few wounds there. If you follow its line of sight, which we did, with a laser, it goes like that. And they can, of course, see my Shock Troop Horde. That is not a flank, my friends. That is a rear. Yep. That's not good, is it? 54 attacks on 4s and 2s. Goodbye. So they took that rear charge. Why would you not? It's an excellent charge. And the other butchers came to those warriors. The Ravagers move forward to shoot things. I think they're going to shoot here, leaving these wretches alone, which was surprising to me. The Bloodworms have come and they've picked up the token, so they now have 4 tokens on their giant 28 nerve. All the flying stuff is still holding back. There's still nowhere good for this Void Lurker to go. So he's just kind of relying on this one Shadow Hulk to hold things off. I might have charged in myself, but there you go. But I'm a different player. That's just showing that annoying. I've used my Plague Pots. These are Plague Pot tokens, by the way. If they say PP, I haven't used them yet, but an X means I've used them. So that's great. I've used Plague Pots. Totally worthless. And those warriors died there. Unsurprisingly, look how many bloody wounds they had. Tons. These butchers are now going to die extremely painfully. And that's the Shock Troop Horde is gone. I thought it was a foot there. I was like, why is his foot on the table? It is his hand, of course. And that's like that. We're all still alive and looking at some butchers. 3 wounds. Wretches took another. Ooh, let's see. Where I drain life to them back down to 8, which is good, isn't it? Because they were on 14, which is extraordinary. So we had Radiance. They were on 14. Radiance down to 13. Well, I don't know. They suddenly end up on 8 wounds. Wait, what were they on before? Let's look again. This is fun. 9. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, he was on 10, wasn't he? Okay, yeah. 10 wounds he did. That's what he did. He had 10 wounds, Radiance 1, Drain 1, down to 8. Okay, so fine. And then I don't think he did any wounds that turn, because he sucks. He's definitely bottom of the Shadow Hulk. Oh, no. There you go. Getting ahead of myself again. He did put him back up to 14, so he actually did 6 wounds. But they're still fine. Wap, wap. On to my turn 3. So, here's how we look on turn 3. The plan is kind of working. Losing a Shock Troop Horde that early is definitely not ideal. But we are still going to be able to do some murderizing here. And maybe even a little bit of murderizing here. I don't know. Got some shooting to go. Quite a lot of shooting to go, actually. You can get all these weapon teams and the Brood Mums and Mother Kryza on the hill, and we can start raining death. That's the plan anyway. So, the Wretches went into this Butcher Horde here with some Drain Life support from this Brood Mum. The Warriors who were in the forest and nearly dead went to just try and knock some wounds off of this Bloodworms Horde. We came forward with stuff. We're still chewing away at the Shadow Hulk. We've still got 2 Shock Troop Hordes back here. Not great, is it? At some point something's going to attack them. That'll be fine. And that's what it is. So the Shock Troop Horde came into this Butchers on the hill. And we've got all 3 weapon teams on the hill here shooting down at this Ravager Horde here, along with Mother Kryza, spreading her little cloak of death around. And we were 8 wounds. Not brilliant. Not brilliant. Well, stealthy is a problem when you're shooting on 4s. 8 wounds is fine, and Waver. Waver is good. 3 wounds from the Wretches there onto that Shadow Hulk. And those brilliant Shock Troops got a Bane Chant off of the Birthing Daughter, which is what the B means. So we were 30 attacks on 4s and 3s, and we did a lot of wounds. But Cloak of Death helps. How many are they on? Can't see. 4. Don't know, 3, 2, something. They're now on lots. So yeah, 15 total, which is pretty great. Off of 30 attacks. That's all those, so killed them. It's nice. The Wretches. Oh, into the... Wow, that's a great roll from Wretches, though, isn't it? What were they on before? They were on 5 before, up to 8. So 3 wounds. Okay, that's what you expect. But there you go. Another waver. Wow. Brilliant. I think they have Fury. So they don't care. Anyway, but it's fun to do. 7 wounds, though, from those warriors, which is extraordinary considering they came out of the terrain. They were hitting on 6s. Oh, they weren't hitting on 6s because of the aura of Strider from the Birthing Daughter. Birthing Daughters are great. Superb. Anyway, 25 attacks on 5s and whatever you hit on 3s, 2s, 1s, 3s, 4s. Bloodworms are defense 4 maybe. Anyway, 7 wounds is great. Good job. And plus these wretches really are knocking it out of the park there. A bit of additional drain life, but that Shadow Hulk's now up to 9 wounds. So on to Andy's turn 4. So he finally commits. He decides he can't hang around, so he sends his beautiful Void Lurker into the back of my lines to hold off that horde. I'm pretty delighted at that, not going to lie. That's exactly what I want to see. He's throwing his Void Lurker away. He's not going to kill that horde, and then I'm going to murder him. Big flying threat, completely out of my concern. Great. Over here, so obviously Fury means that those butchers can turn around. These butchers are wavered. They turned, and these ones hid behind them because obviously they can then shoot over the top of my stuff that's on a hill. Pretty smart. Now on Andy's video, he did talk about this horde here. Now you can see I've turned it to come down here because that's my plan, remember? And he was saying, well, why didn't you just go off that way? 3 tokens over the center line. And the answer to that is I just didn't have enough left elsewhere on the battlefield to hold off the bloodworms for another, what, we turn 3? Yeah, not all 4, another 3 turns. I didn't have enough. I needed them in the fight. I can always drop the tokens and have Mother Cries pick them up. In fact, you know what? Looking at it with the old 2020 hindsight there, I should have dropped the tokens and have Mother Cries pick them up. I just wandered over. Ah, damn. Gutted. Live and learn. There you go. When you've got a mobile character, give them a token and have them sod off because Mother Cries is practically indestructible. So, anyway, that, I don't know why they're on 6 wounds now. That's the heal from the old Planar Apparition. It's doing well. And that is the Ravagers. So they do 5 wounds onto a weapon team, but it's okay, which is good news for me. The counter charge here is pathetic. Given they got 40 attacks on 3s, that's rubbish. Anyway, 13 wounds onto the warriors, and they're okay. And he murders my wretches, of course, with those butchers. But they're now going to die from everything. So. He's also sent his Soul Flayers over into my Tangle, which, again, I would not have done. Soul Flayers on 4s, they're going to be hindered. Are they hindered? They get Strider? And then they get Strider, hindered. It's a dash 14, it's not going to kill it. Going to stop it casting, but that means another of your mobile attack pieces is dead. So I wouldn't have done that, but, you know, hey. And the Shadow Hulk finally finishes off these wretches. He's feeling good about his life. And there's 7 wounds. 7 wounds from the Soul Flare. That's not bad at all. I'm not going to kill a horde, though. That's murder time. Oh, there you go. There you go. There was me disparaging bloodworms. In fact, they did 1 million, billion, trillion wounds and destroyed them. What's annoying is that I've looked through the slideshow before talking about it to you. So the fact that I am completely unable to recount then what happens in an accurate fashion just goes to show how professional I am in terms of a battle reporter. Moving on. My turn 4. So it is counter charge time, and I've used my plague pots there just in case I don't kill him, but I'm hoping I will. I then double charge. So this is one of my brood mothers and the war chief into this Shadow Hulk because I think I can kill him. Maybe that's optimistic. I don't know. And then the other horde who have also used their their plague pots come in. They will be hindered, but they've got counter charge from the Tangle as well into the Soul Flares to finish them off. And the plan here really is to, with plague pots, is to persuade the bloodworms to charge me so that I can start counter charging and murdering them. Let's see if that works. And then on this side, so yep, off the hill into the butchers with these guys. The weapon team spread this way. Mother Chrysler comes around here instead of going up here to pick up the tokens like I should have done. Oh, so angry. Anyway, the reason we do that is because we're going to start shooting stuff and killing it. That's fun. And I double one it. So, you know, hey. Go from 8 wounds up to 16 wounds. So 8 wounds there from 35 attacks. I double won them. So that is very, very bad news for me. I do, however, kill them. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. where we are. We also kill the Soul Flayers, so now we are ready to take on Bloodworms. And I also kill the Void Lurker, which is superb. Good job. Very proud. We don't, however, kill the Shadow Hulk. I confidently thought I would. Only had 10 attacks. He was only on 9 wounds, so maybe I just wanted to hold him up. Who knows? Turn 5 for Andy. So yeah, this is how we're looking. All 4 tokens are here. I've still got 2 hordes left on this side, which is very good, because I need everything to kill this 28 nerve unit. My tokens are here. I've got 2 hordes of Ravagers looking at me. Not a fan of that, but I have used Plague Pots everywhere, so I'm fully protected for this turn. And he chooses to charge, not shoot. So he charges in. I'm stealthy as well, so nimble, stealthy. It's probably the same, but he wanted to get into me to use the tokens. I think I'll be all right. We'll see. The Leapers, they leap over, whatever they're called, Tormentors, into my War Chief. And the Shadow Hulk countercharges the Broodmother. We'll see what happens there. War Chiefs are pretty tough guys, I gotta say, and he's double rallied. So, let's see. And the Bloodworms hold back. So he's brought over his planar apparition. This is pretty critical because he wants to block me with it, right? Okay. That is the sum total. So there you go. 9 wounds, not enough at all. But he is holding back my token unit from getting over the line, which is the point. 4 wounds there from the Shadow Hulk, not enough. 5 wounds from the Tormentors, again, not enough. So my confidence in my troops was well placed. So into my turn 5, this is how we look. 5, got 2 turns to kill 28 unit strength. U28 nerve. I've got a hindered shock troop unit, and I've got a brood mum. So let's see how we go. So we go in now. Why do I do that? Yes, do I? I know why I do this. So you think, why don't you take the shock troops in? And the answer is, the shock troops is my main hitting power here, right? If I take the shock troops into them now, I won't kill them because I'm hindered, and then he will flank me. It's an easy flank because I'll be over like this, right? And he'll flank me, kill me with his gigantic number of attacks, and then my only hitting power is gone because I need an extra turn here, I think, to chew through both of these units. It's better for me to hold him off. This was my thinking at the time. Hold off these guys because the center line is here, right? Kill these guys and get over the center line here to win. That's what I was thinking at this point. So we cast Weakness from the Tangle onto the Worms, and then we send Brood Mum in the front and Chrysler in the flank, just to really start knocking wounds. You notice he's healed all the wounds that were there. And this Shock Troop Horde goes into the Ravagers to kill them, so I can come in next turn, right? And then we carry on trying to kill here. So the other Shock Troops here have gone into the Shadow Hulk. That's what we're doing. And then everything here is, so we're shooting here, there's some shooting, I think shooting into the heavily wounded one. So that's another mistake that I made, looking back, watching Andy's report, right? So I decided I was going to shoot off the heavily wounded one and attack, so countercharge the less wounded one. Thinking being easier to kill with shooting because I'm stealthy everything. But of course, I need to get into that half. So it would have been a much smarter move, not as smart as giving the tokens to Chrysler, a much smarter move to countercharge these guys and then block up these guys with a weapon team while we try to shoot them off, right? Because at least then I'm in that half. Damn it, a second opportunity to get into his half that I missed. However, we kill both of them, which is extraordinary. So we shoot off this one, and the shock troops do it again, kill off the other Ravager horde. I don't know how many wounds I did, but just consider I would have been in that half if... anyway, whatever. And then we do 8 wounds on this lovely horde, and then we... Oh, do I not kill them? The Shadow Horde, let's just pop forwards. We don't. Look at that. He's on 14 wounds, which goes down to 12, 15. Oh, 15 wounds. Or is it 14 wounds with the Radiance, Cloak of Death, something? I guess the Shadow Hulk survives another turn, which is very vexing. Dash 20. Maybe I rolled a 3 or a 4 for the nerve. That's a very action shot there, isn't it? I wonder what that's all about. Turn 6 for Andy Ransom. Clocks are getting extremely low by this point, by the way. So he shoves his planar apparition right in front of me. So he knows that even if I kill it, I can't sidestep enough to get into his half because this tower is in the way. There's a counter charge somewhere. Don't know where. Some more healing going on there. So this is also... I did tell him he was a meanie. I used a slightly more rude word than that. He moved the planar apparition of here and he turned it around nominally to heal here. But also, I've got 2 minutes of clock left and now I need to roll 90 dice to rear charge it. Just like to say, that's rude. So, some counter charging going on there. So the apparition comes into this shot troop horde. Oh, it's not there. This is the Portal of Despair. Charges in this shot just to stop it doing anything. I think he chooses. He charges a brood mother. Yeah, there you go. And there you go. That's me taking a photo of his dick move. I don't think it was intentional. It's just the way it was. Why is there 1 wound on? Do they do 1 wound? Gosh, that's 40 attacks on 4s and 5s. 4s and 6. That's why, because it's 6s. It's 6s because of the weakness. There's no crushing strength and defense 5 brood mum. So 4s and 6s, 1 wound. Rubbish. There you go. Weakness is great. He waves my brood mum with his Shadow Hulk. Disappointing for him. Action shot. And then my counter charge. So I'm running very, very low. I kill the Portal of Despair. I sidestep as far as I can. I've actually blocked myself with this bloody weapon team. Really trying to shoot myself right in the knees. The broodmother with 1 wound has to turn and leg it out of there so that the shock troops can come in unhindered. Right? We kill the Shadow Hulk with these guys, which is well, actually it's just the War Chief on his own kills him. We don't kill the. I don't even try to roll the attacks on the Portal of Despair, and then we do an absolute boatload of wounds to the Bloodworms. This is turn 6, and I forgot to mention to you there are no turn 7s in Battlemasters. All right, there are no turn 7s. So as it stands, neither of us are in the other person's half. He's got 4 tokens and I've got 3. I do 19 wounds. So last turn, I think he healed him up to 4. So it's 15 wounds. We do 15 wounds. And actually there's an extra wound that I forgot because Kryza's Cloak of Death. And you'll see in a minute we change it to be a 2. So they are on 20 wounds. I need to roll an 8 to kill them twice. 25, 28. There's my 7. Ha lads. I'm 1 away. Lads and lady. What are they, lads? People, my friends. Generically gender neutral lads. There you go. I've corrected the amount of wounds on it. So they're on 20 wounds. There's my 7. It's a 28. I am 1 away. 1 away from victory. Broken. Well-deserved victory from Andy. He played his tactic perfectly. You know, with the troops that he got. I think his army wasn't ideal. I think he could have been a lot more kiddie list or a lot better list. So he really played that very, very well. Well-deserved victory. And I, you know, as you can see as we walk through, I missed 2 very clear chances to win. These tokens did not need to be. Oh, I've lost my thingy. The tokens that you can see there on my shock troop horde did not need to be on that shock troop horde. Right? They should easily have been. These 3 tokens should have been on Mother Kryza and she should have just been away and I would have easily won. Or maybe not easily won. Maybe it wouldn't have happened. Maybe her wounds here were critical. Who knows? Is what it is. So there you go. A loss on game 1. Very disappointing. But on to game 2. And so we're into game 2. Game 2 was against my very good friend Matt and his Halflings. Matt was on my Clash team for a number of years. In fact, we just seem to be in a permanent chat now. He's even way back in the day featured on this channel, playing Orcs at the time. But he has been playing Halflings for a while. He's got a very cool kind of RAF-themed Halfling army, which is nice. And this is how he has configured it this time. So he's got 2 regiments of Braves, 2 hordes of Stalwarts, 1 with the Warbow of Kava, because why not? 1 with Boots of Striding, which you kind of need for that melee 4, even with 25 attacks. No crush though on them. He's got a horde of halfling rifles, who he has given the piercing arrow to, but you can immediately forget that because he did forget that the entire game. Then 3 regiments of Edge Grenadiers, whatever they are, however you pronounce them. That nasty, brutal D3. Triple Aeronauts with Blood of the Old, King, Staying Stone, and Blade of Slashing. We all hate Aeronauts still because they break the rules of the game. It's very annoying. Anyway, 3 volley guns, which is gross. Piercing 2, 24-inch range. Oh, that's 36 shots. Ouch. 2 engineers with long rifles. Very, very nasty. That's a really nice little unit there. And 2 muster captains on winged Aralaz, kind of mini dragons. One with Brew of Haste, making him speed 11. And one of them with Mead of Madness, giving him a 21-inch charge. So, pretty gross. So, I think there's a lot of elements in this which are really good. There's a lot of stuff in this that I don't know. It's kind of like it's trying to be like kind of a shooting list. You know, you've got triple volley guns, engineers, rifles, but you've also got some quite fast units. However, I think that those are the good bits. The things that I don't think are so good is that it doesn't play to the synergies of the halfling list as well as it could. So there's a lot of stuff in here which is really good, but I think a couple of the gastromancer, whatever they're called, I forget what the units are called, but the ones that have all of the different rules that you can apply, I think would be of significant benefit, as well as some of the auras you can pick up. I think if you're going to bring halflings, you need to work towards the auras. Just me. I don't know. It's still a horrible list to face. Still pretty terrifying. I think the Braves are terrible. I don't like melee 4 hordes. He says with 8 melee 4 hordes in his list. I'm going to stop talking about lists now. Anyway, and this one, because it turns out I'm just talking rubbish. This was the board we were playing on. So these are very old school GW 12-inch tiles, and I say 12-inch very advisedly. We measure them; they're not actually 12 inches; they're under 12 inches. So it kind of looks cool. I would say it is horrible to play on. That's just me. Not a fan of these plastic boards. However, so we have 2 height 3 hills, more enormous hills, 2 height flat terrain pieces, 2 height 6 blocking impassables. This one we actually pushed together to make it a little bit more defined, so you'll see that in the game as we move on. A height 9 forest. There is actually another height 9 forest down here, but it doesn't really come into the game because it's so far out. And then 2 height 2 walls. And we are playing Dominate. So I put a token in the centre, but you don't need to because you can see exactly where it is in this board, which is a benefit of this board, you could say. And this is how we deployed. So it's going to be, oh look, oh, one of the Edge Grenadiers has had a whoopsie. So anyway, so the way I deployed is because obviously with Dominate, we've got this blooming great big tower here in the middle, which is going to make it problems. At 12 inches, you can just get in here. It's kind of like this, 12 inches, there or thereabouts. I am going to, so he's put 3 volley guns here and rifles. Right, and then he's got a smattering of stuff. I've got my wretches here, warriors here, and then all the good stuff at the back. I've got a significant unit strength advantage. I'm going to be feeding him rubbish units, wretches and warriors, into the guns until I can get something to them. Probably this guy, my war chief. This stuff I think is so far out, particularly these units here. I think his plan is to just kind of feed me stuff and then eventually come into win with them. This is kind of the fast stuff I'm really worried about. That's 2 units of aeronauts right there. That's one of the muster captains on winged Aralaz. The other one's over here. I think this is the super fast one. He's going to be swinging around with them. I'm just going to block him up. I'm going to fill this section of the board with as much stuff as possible to stop him jumping over and see how we go. Yeah, that's the strategy. Here's my stuff. There's some more stuff. Here's his stuff. So, you know, moment of respect for such a cool army. He's got like his RAF, like, I don't know, planes and balloons and stuff. It is very cool. Floppy balloons notwithstanding. And look, it's got like an airstrip markings. I really like it. On to turn 1. Why am I showing you that close up? Just because it's cool? Fair enough then. Oh, I just took more photographs of his army. I already did that bit. I win turn 1. Hurrah! Or do I win turn 1? Actually, I don't win turn 1, but he gives me turn 1. So I say, okay. And I've deployed my stuff. So talking about what I talked about in the last game, making sure I'm not in the way of any terrain so I can push forward with this army as fast as possible, even into a gun line. Because the key to getting into a gun line is getting into a gun line as fast as possible. So I have pushed forward everything super fast. I've made sure I've got my inspiring in range and everything. So these are wretches. I don't care about them and I'm pushing forward as far as I can. Over on this side as well. So, you know, he can aeronaut me who he likes. I've got my nose of these shock troops on the hill so I can see over. Got my range stuff. So he does, you know, the temptation here is to bring his fast things around here to try and flank, in which case I've got 3 guns to come up onto the hill to blow him to Kingdom Come. That's the plan. No stealthy on this army. I start to try and peck away at some of these guns with Lightning Bolt. 2 wounds isn't bad. And on to Matt's go. So he does, as you might imagine, bring thing around the side. And he basically makes a big curve. So he's trying to do a pincer to flank either side. You'll see he's brought one of his Edge Grenadiers all the way down the side, which is facing this way now. And he starts rolling a lot of dice because you will see 3 volley guns are going to shoot at some wretches along with 2 of these engineers. So they should be very... Oh, wow. 18 wounds off that first volley. And I do very well to get a waiver off of that because at 23 nerve, I suppose he needs, what, a 5 twice? That's good odds. But fortunately, I think he rolls a 4 or a 3, which is poor for him. In fact, our dice, both of our dice through this game are particularly bad. I think that one was a 3 from recollection. So he wavers my wretches. That's perfect for me. I don't particularly care. He's going to have to shoot them again. So turn 2 for me. And I just turn against this kind of phalanx of stuff here. He's only got 1 EJ Grenadiers in range of these shock troops here. So these guys aren't in range here. They're only in range of the wretches. So if he wants to charge me with that Edge Grenadier, that's fine. I will kill him immediately. These guys are too slow, so I'm just out of charge for them, I think. If he wants to waste his aeronauts and stuff on them, that's fine. That's really a holding action. Well, I push forward in the middle. There you go, that's the dice showing it's turn 2. We know it's turn 2. And then I've pushed forward everything else. So again, we're wavered, so we've just turned to take the shots next turn. And these warriors have come across. I've used the terrain to block myself. So this is all in my flank, so he can't charge these ones. And I've given him a shock troop horde on here, saying, go on then, if you want to charge them, feel free with your big muster captain. And we're ready here to just, if he does come down here. Oh, in fact, he has come down here. So he sent his Edge Grenadiers regiment down here. And I've brought my guys over here to shoot the smeg out of it. Let's see how that goes. That's me there. Again, you know, horrific hill, this one. Just awful to try and fit units on. So yeah, these guys are on it. This guy's down the side. We're all going to shoot. And really, I've just gambled that I'm going to shoot it off. They've got a low nerve. I've got a ton of shots. Let's see how we go. And there you go. Maths works after all. So 15 hits, piercing 1. Oh, an EJ is maybe piercing... What? You're going to tolerate me going all the way back to his list to have a look at defense of an Edge Grenadier because it becomes relevant later on. So let's just learn together. I say together, it's mainly me. You can just go and look it up. They are defense 4, which is, you know, against piercing 1. It's going to be what, 10, 11 wounds. So they're only 11, 13. Pretty great odds of shooting that off with 3 weapon teams. So that I think was not the best move to make. And yeah, they had took a swift exit. So there they go. Boom. Nice. And even better, my lightning bolt put pay to 1 of those volley guns. So I have managed to get rid of 1 of the 3 already, which is good news for me. On to Matt's turn 2. Oh, I was in charge with those wretches. That's a reasonable gamble to take. I did, however, mess up a little bit. So he's taken both stalwart. That's rifles here. So these are both stalwart hordes into my wretches, which should maybe kill them. This one is hindered. They're both hindered. One of them's got boots of striding. I can't remember if he uses them or not. These guys are just hanging back, but he does manage to take this Edge Grenadiers and hop it right over, which I missed. And they're in a good position now to do some damage. He's also got aeronauts and his other muster captain here. So this side is looking a little bit hairy. What's going on there? That's just some shooting. I think he moves these guys onto this wall, maybe. Or is that showing? I was showing that he's brought the other Edge Grenadiers this way. So to protect against my stuff running down here, he's got them here ready to jump in. And that is 1 wound onto the wretches, 3 wounds onto my birthing daughter from the little shooty engineers, which is a bit vexing, but she's okay. I say okay, she's wavered. The wretches, of course, die because they should have died last turn, but she's wavered, which is, I mean, mildly annoying. Not that much of a big deal. However, even better over here. So, I tell you, hitting on 4 sucks when you're hindered. I don't think he uses the boots. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know, but he does a massive 14 wounds off of 50 attacks, which is garbage, and wavers my other wretches. So, there you go. On to my turn 3. So, yeah. These guys, these shock troops here, you can't quite see, they're a little bit blurry. Where are they? Yeah, these guys next to the wall here. It's actually a better shot to show you. Can see and are within 12 here. So I think Matt missed that. So I took that charge. I used my plague pots. These guys are wavered, so they don't do anything. So we go into 1 stalwart horde with those guys. And then we take the other ones hindered with plague pots again into this stalwart horde. So we're really trying to just kind of fight fire with fire there. We've got some drain life support here. We're ignoring aeronauts because we're just pretending they don't exist. I rather too efficiently ignore this Edge Grenadiers. I'll come on to that later. So on this side, so we bring everything into a nice line. And then I do something really silly. So the Edge Grenadiers are down there. And my total intention was to bring the Tangle around here and fireball them off. Right? He'll have fireball 12. That many hordes nearby. Fireball 12. So 6, maybe 3 or 4 wounds. Good chance of a waver. Totally forget the units there. Just like completely forget. And I do something else with them, with the Tangle. I can't remember what I do. I think I might Bane Chant or something over here. So that was dumb. And I leave my flank exposed here, which is even dumber. Anyway, there you go. So you see I brought my War Chief up here because he wants to start coming and chewing on things there. These Edge Grenadiers can't see him. I think he's super tough. I think he's defense 5, so he can survive some shooting, particularly as an individual. So these warriors are more bait for him to shoot here. Meanwhile, on the other side, so I bring my shooting around here. We're going to start shooting at this stuff. I've got my shock troops ready to come across, protected by these warriors. I'm daring him to charge the aeronauts into those warriors. We'll see how that goes. He's stacked them a little bit too closely, so the behind ones can't see anything because they're blocked by the front ones. So it's not going to be a double charge. So that was unfortunate. And these guys are in the woods, so they're completely useless. So there we go. 2 massive wounds. Oh, no, that must be the Drain Life. Drain Life, 2 wounds. And I've taken it off the wretches. Well done. That's some more shooting from something. Not really sure what. And that is not so great, is it? So that is 3 or 2 weapon teams shooting at his Muster Captain on Winged Aralaz with a Brew of Haste. 22-inch charge is nasty. 4 wounds. 4 wounds as a start, though. These shock troops come in. 13 wounds on those guys, but don't do anything special. 8 wounds, so another 6 from those guys. Again, hindered. Hitting on 4 sucks when you're hindered, and neither of us could roll well. So I've started the battle. We'll see if I can survive. I've got a load of ensnare going on, so again, he's hitting on 5. Not going to do well. On to his turn 3. So I missed this. So, boo-hoo me. I'll come back. These guys, I completely just didn't bother measuring this distance. They're totally in charge range, but they hit on 5s normally. So they're hitting on 6s, and I'm defense 5. 6s and 5 is not great. So I don't care. Even tripled. Don't care. That's where he went, right, well, I'm going to charge your flank then. I went with what? He went with my Edge Grenadiers, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't even see they were there. Even more, I missed, I didn't even look at this guy looking across my flank. He charges 21. He saw the Tangle doing tangly things and thought, I'm having you. Went into flank of my Tangle, so that's 14 attacks. I'm not sure that's a great move. I'm not going to lie, because that's not going to kill these guys, and we've got flank. I've got double drain life. I've got warriors. You know, that's just throwing away the character, really. But he did say at the end, I don't think this is a good idea. And I was like, I agree. And he takes my bait there. So he moves the other guys across. So these guys have now got a lovely view down here. And he's just decided to start wiping out unit strength, which needs to be done. And then so the aeronauts just join in on these shock troops. So that is bad news. These guys on their own, I can handle. Aeronauts are so swingy. They can just do an enormous amount of wounds in a single go, and there's nothing you can do about it because ensnare means nothing to an aeronaut. That is shooting. So these they all unleashed on my war chief, and being an individual, he don't care. So 5 wounds and he's okay. So he can start murdering stuff next time. He did, however, manage to kill my tango with some superb rolling, which I was a little bit annoyed about. But what can you do? Can't do anything about that. So then he overran, but not far enough to get effect. He overran. That was disastrous. He overran, and he's giving me a rear charge from this horde, which I am totally taking. 2 wounds there. They're okay. Some great rolling for aeronauts. So swingy. A total of 17 wounds from these guys onto this warrior's horde. Totally destroys them. But he is going to get shock trooped off a hill. Like that. Whoa, what's that doing? Don't know. That's just the sign. That's me confidently saying I wasn't worried about 6s and 5s. Turns out you just need to roll a 10. There's no inspiring over here, so he did roll a 10 on the nerve, and he killed my weapon team. Didn't like that. However, these aeronauts did not roll so well, so they 12 wounds there, and we survived. So phew, just as well. And there's 3 wounds. Oh, I didn't see that. Did we do that? Oh well, there you go. The other aeronauts have gone into the aeronauts. Edge grenadiers have gone to flank of these warriors. Only 3 wounds, which is absolutely garbage. On to turn 4. So it's getting real now. We're all in the centre. There is this ridiculously huge line of so many hordes in combat, which is pretty funny, but we are cracking on. Time's looking good. Oh, it's all grand. So this is a worry, a massive worry. I'm doing okay here. I'm doing okay here. This could go any way. So let's see how we do. So the horde comes into the aeronauts. We turn around. So I offer this really as a charge target for these guys, and we're going to shoot at this guy with both of them because he needs to die. Oh, and yep. So that's my rear charge. So I take the rear charge into this muster cap, and he's going to explode. 75, 75 dice. Yeah. Counter charge here. He's going to die. We decide that Cries and the birthing daughter are going to try and shoot this edge grenadiers off because it's all I got. That's all I got, guys. Got nothing else to do, so I'm going to have to do that. Counter charge here. The war chief starts eating war machines, which we like very much. And then over here, so we counter charge the aeronauts because they are by far and away the bigger threat. These wretches were still wavered. Is that right? I don't think anyone attacked them. I don't think they wavered. Anyway, so we all charge these guys. And I think I tried to maybe drain life these guys to get a lucky waiver. Maybe that was my thing. Oh, no, I don't. I drain life those guys. Oh, I do. Yes, that's exactly what I do. I drain life those guys. I put them up to 10, but I don't get any waivers. We unbelievably get some great shooting off of Mother Chrysler and off of the birthing daughter, and we shoot off the other edge grenadier. So that was some very, very good dice from me. The shooting here puts him another 3 wounds on this muster captain. He's still okay. Oh, no. 4 wounds onto those aeronauts, and they're okay. And we kill, bam, these stalwarts. So that's 1 horde down. Horde unit strengths are extremely good. I have an unwounded shock troop horde looking at a bunch of stuff, so that's great news for me. And we sidestep across. So just kind of staying within the 12 inches. And we murder, obviously, the wind captain there with the rear charge. So, and we murder the war machine there. So it's all murder town. Everything's dying. Hurrah. And then I overrun an unprecedented amount for reasons, just because I can. And we wipe out 1 aeronaut. But there's another one left, which is bad news. And I just turn like that so that he can't flank me with his muster captain. On to Matt's turn 4. So he decides that unit strength destruction is much more important and goes in with both. Let's see if these other aeronauts can do as many wounds as the last one. I mean, he's got Blood of the Old King, so goodness knows. Then he takes his stalwarts into my other weapon team. These Braves come off the hill. Good job. Hindered. So they immediately lose Thunderous Charge into these wretches. They're probably going to die because they're going to get stalwarted. That's probably fine because I've got another horde here. Counter charge here, obviously. These guys are going to try and shoot my war chief off, and I don't know what these rifles. The rifles are terrible. Don't take halfling rifles; they're bad. That's my AC. 3 wounds onto my warriors. Oh, that's just this guy, I think, and the rifles. 3 wounds from all of them onto warriors. Rubbish. 1 more wound there onto the war chief. He still doesn't care. 1 wound from the Braves. They don't quite manage to repeat their feat from last time, so this weapon team's out of commission, but still alive. Hey, aeronauts, man. They just sometimes, yeah, so 14 wounds there. 14 wounds. I am probably inspired by this. I don't know if this Broodmother was in 6. Probably wasn't. I think not, actually. That was bad playing from me. I didn't use my play pot, so that was a silly move. Not that it matters. Play pot, I deliberately didn't because it just doesn't bloody matter. There you go. Aeronauts. They killed another horde. Grr. But they did 4 wounds to themselves because blood of the old king, so there you go. So the wretches die. Finally, on to turn 5. It's just how we look at turn 5. So I would say I have a pretty good advantage at this point. It's not all told though. So we have a horde here and a horde here on very low wounds. He does have a horde here, but I've got another one here in reserve on 0 wounds. And these guys are nothing. So all he has is these aeronauts and the muster captain. These guys are out of contention. These guys can come in, but they can get murdered pretty quick. And I've still got another unit strength, another unit strength. So in unit strength wise, I've managed to take off a lot of the hordes, which is exactly the right thing to do, I think. So, yep, so these guys here come across into this horde to hold them off, to keep them out of that 12-inch zone and try and kill them. They're already on 10 wounds, so it's a pretty good chance. These were up to 10 wounds. Were they wavered then? Maybe not. I don't know. What were we on before? Oh, no. Yeah, they were on 10 wounds. Were they? They were on 10. No, that's a wretches. 6 wounds. Okay, so the second time they only did 4 wounds. There you go. I need to look at the rules for aeronauts. What happens on counter charges? Surely they can't do bombing runs again. It doesn't make any sense, logically speaking, does it? Right, so we go in there, shock troops onto stalwarts. I think I should be able to take them. Back into aeronauts, should be able to take them. I'm going to try and drain these guys. Or maybe I'll drain this side actually, because I think aeronauts are far scarier. We go back into another war engine to take that out with a bit of drain life support. The warriors are just kind of sitting here saying, go on, do what you want. We don't care, we're unit strength 4. Oh, I think I move forward so that I can't get aeronauted, so I'm out of line of sight here. I sit here and say, go on then. And then I think I'm going to try and shoot this guy. Finally get rid of him. And I do! Yes! Die! Die, scum! Sorry, So, I managed to shoot off the muster captain with that final weapon team that's still alive. And I kill off the aeronauts, which is fantastic news on this side. Drain life puts me back down to 8. That's rubbish though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Oh, is that drain life or... No, that's my attacks. That's 1 wound, guys. 1 wound. They are defense 5, I guess. So it's not without the realms of possibility. The other, whatever it's called, organ gun, whatever they're called. Anyway, it's gone. Dead. Die, fools. On to match turn 5. So aeronauts are staying out of 12. Why are they staying out of 12? I think they think maybe they just can't kill me. I mean, evidence shows they absolutely can. I don't know why you wouldn't just kind of go in. Anyway, they stay out of 12. Another charge into that weapon team. That is just shooting, maybe. I think it just... Oh, yeah, no, I don't know. Oh, that's right. So the rifles, these guys come across here. I think they're going to try and shoot my guy off just for spite. The rifles come into this horde because it puts them in a really great place. It puts them within, that's a really nice move. Out of line of sight here, and it puts them within 12 of this center token. So flank and front, we'll see. And then these guys charge into this horde that killed the aeronauts who'd reformed like so. Really just keep them out of 12, which is probably wise. So those engineers do kill my very brave war chief. Very sad. And those braves kill my other weapon team. Rude. Still outside 12, so they're alright. An extra wound there, so they're not going anywhere, but they're fine. Turn 6, so this is how we look at turn 6. I'm pretty confident by this point. These aeronauts are only 1 unit strength. It really doesn't matter what they do. You charge me here, I don't care. Because I've got another 3 unit strength here. I don't know how many wounds were done here. It doesn't look like a lot, does it? In fact, none? Is that no wounds? That's appalling, guys. Oh, is that their wounds? 3, 4. So 4 wounds were done. 4 wounds from a flank and the front is balls. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So at this point, we're kind of just coasting towards victory. Pretty happy. We just stay there. We come down, try and shoot them off. Get rid of their aeronauts. We don't care. And we do. Weapon teams, once again, proving they are absolutely devastating. We kill off this stalwart horde with my shock troops and turn to face the rifles. We're within 12. And it's about turn 6, and that is the end of the game. So, pretty convincing victory. I managed to pick him off towards the end there. Aeronauts are so dangerous, but I think they really need more support. You've got to just chuck them away. You need to kind of follow through a little bit or multi-charge or something. I just had too many hordes at the end for him to do anything about. And a couple of bad dice rolls meant that he just couldn't pick off my hordes on the left, so ended a pretty convincing victory. So yeah, that's the end of the game. I love playing Matt. He's such a great guy. I'm really hoping I can get back to his house. He lives just a little bit too far away for me to go over regularly. But it would be really cool to get another game against him at some point on camera. He's a nice guy. Right, on to game 3. Right then. Oh, I haven't mentioned up to now the scoring system for this tournament, which is unusual. Not one it's the same one he runs every year, but it's a normal kind of a 0 for a loss, 5 for a draw, 10 for a win. However, you get up to 10 points for kills, and that's it. There's no scenario points, just win or loss, and then up to 10 extra points for kills. So in my first game, because I murdered so much of Andy's army, I actually got a 10. So I got 0 for the loss, but I did get a 10. So it was a very reasonable loss. And obviously I murdered a lot of Matt's stuff as well, so another really good score. So despite having 1 win, 1 loss, I'm not doing badly. And that puts me up against Jake. Jake, who I've faced twice before, and twice on this channel in tournaments. First time he was playing someone else's Nightstalker army, where I beat him, and the second time he was playing his own Riftforged Orcs, and he beat me. So there we go. So it's a rematch against more Riftforged Orcs, which hasn't quite finished painting, but we don't mind. And this is what he's got. He has got 2 troops of Riftwalkers, a regiment of Gore Riders, so something that can benefit from that Wild Charge aura. 2 hordes of Hellstrikers, one with Boots of Striding, one with Wine of Elvenkind, a Storm Giant, a Stormforged Shrine, and then someone's been watching my battle reports because he's got 2 Riftforgers, although he hasn't quite spec'd them how I would spec them. So he has given one of them Hex, which is okay. Something for the Tangle to put up with, I guess, every bloody turn. And then he's given I think he's overspec'd the second one, if I'm honest with you, but he's given a Mount and Storm Strike, a Blade of Slashing, Host Shadow Beast, and Veil of Shadows. So he's multi-tooled it. There's always a temptation to multi-tool a caster if you haven't got many casters. But he's already got a multi-tool in the Shrine, and I wonder if he was just a little bit worried about coming to a 2,500 point tournament and facing a lot of shooting. In which case that Veil of Shadows might have done him some good. Nonetheless, Thonar. 1 Stormbringer on Hellstrike Manticore with the Mace of Crushing, and then the Iron Boots formation. Given that Wild Charge. Nice little touch on this is that he gives the Reborn Legion, this last time as well, gives the Reborn Legionaries the Orb of Towering Presence, making that very, very durable regiment unit strength 4, which is gross, but very cool. So that's his Riftforged Orcs, and this is our battlefield. And look, it's got proper hills on it that aren't a million miles high, and you can actually put units on. Isn't that lovely to see? Right, there they are, height 3. Nice to see them. Some flat terrain, some buildings, 2 forests, which are definitely not height 9. Look at them. I actually had to get those out of a box, but I didn't like the trees they had. I'm really complaining now. And 2 little walls there, that's it, just normal. And we are playing Control, my least favourite scenario. So if you can't remember, Control is the one where you split it into 6 segments, roughly like this. It says drawing in 3D. Oh, it's not bad, actually. Each segment that you control is worth 1. However, your opponent's central segment is worth 2 to you. And vice versa. Okay, so this is how we deploy. So I'm mostly scared of this lot, this flying lot. And I was pleased when he put them over on this right-hand flank. Because he has a bottleneck, a really big bottleneck here. And there's a wall and a forest the other side of the bottleneck, right? That plays into my hand. So this is Thonar, and this is the Riftforger. These are some of the... oh, what are they called? Riftwalkers? Thingy walkers? Riftwalkers, I got it right. I'm a genius. I do play this army. There's the Hellstrikers. Can't remember which one's which, but you had both of them there, which was kind of like, wow, okay, that's pretty scary, not gonna lie. And then, so this is his Storm Giant, which is just a regular giant, if you can see, but we're playing as Storm Giant, it's fine. There's some more Riftwalkers, and then what can we see? This is the Shrine here. I've probably got a close-up to this. I don't know why I'm doing it from here. So I just kind of deploy across the piece again. I did put one of the Shock Troop Halls right in the front with Kryza, because she's very, very good with Ensnare to take on some of that stuff. Mainly worried about Thonar here, because Thonar reducing my ability to hit by 1 means I'm hitting on 5s with my best stuff. So that's going to be poor. So I've got all my shooting stuff here as well, just in case anything does manage to hop over the top. Just kind of spread out over here. So I am playing for this side of the board. The aim here is to get, 2 of the 1s and his 2. That's the ideal. That's my stuff. There's got Tango. I'm very scared of that wing. You can see how much stuff I put against it. This is just all chaff, basically. 100% chaff. I thought I'd switch it up a bit. Look. Got a Shock Troop in front and Warriors behind. I think it's because I forgot, actually. I think I'll probably hop them over pretty soon. We'll see. There we go. That's his. That's Thonar and the Riftforger. Mixture of old and new school. Unpainted. Come on, sort your life out. And there we go. So this is easy to see, isn't it? Giant. We have got the... now, right. Which one's which? Yes. Okay. I think these guys with the yellow banner are the Reborn. And then these other banners are the normal Legionnaires. That's my guess. Here's the Riftforger. There's the Stormbringer and Hellstrike Manticore. And here are the Gore Riders. Bit far out, to be honest. Maybe he's planning a flanking maneuver. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so he's planning to bring them around here. That's why, along with this guy to support them and inspire them. That's all my stuff. And on to turn 1, which I win. Hurrah! That's excellent. Exactly what I need, because with fast flying opponents, you do not want to let them get first turn. You can't really do anything about it. We stupidly put the clock in the wrong place, but I very cleverly swapped it around by waiting until his time was the same as my turn. so, pointless. Pushed up really, really hard here. Made sure the wall was here so he couldn't do anything about it. He's going to have to come in here, in which case I can try and jam him up as much as possible, and everything else just kind of wandered merrily forwards. That's some lightning bolt from Mother Kryza onto the Riftwalkers there, okay? And onto his turn 1. So, that is a wind blast from a Storm Giant. He wind blasted me right out of the woods, so rude. And then he hexed my Brood Mother, which is fun but pointless. That's because I hid my Tangle right over here behind the woods. So this is his hex cast, and I'm like, well, the Tangle can go over here then, so he never sees him. So the Brood Mum's going to get hexed. It's fine. She's not doing anything this turn. And that is some lightning bolt from the Shrine. 3 points onto that Shock Troop Horde. You see, I did manage to hop the Warriors over to correct my poor deployment. On to turn 2. What a quick turn, right? So I just pushed forward even harder. So he didn't come forward as hard as I'd imagine here. I think he tried to stay out of my charge range, which is sensible, really, because I am going to just chaff him up, right? So I push forward like this. I try to give him not many good things. He's put these ones at an angle. Now, if you've got these guys, I think if that's the nimble one as well, you want them to be at an angle where they can go forward and turn, right? Because that's what nimble stuff does. But in this case, there's a lot of shooting here. 3, 4. I mean, there's a lot of shooting there. So they would be scared to jump over. So I've just kind of offered my wretches up. I've given the shock troops, I've let him charge my shock, I can't do anything about him charging my shock troops, but I've only created enough space for something small to come into shock troops. No Hell Strikers are coming in there, they don't fit. And these guys are hidden behind, just touching the base here, and we are out of charge here and here. I think. Oh, what did I do on the other side? I just pushed forward again. It's really very, very dull. On his turn too. Oh, that was some lightning bolt damage. Another point. So he just says, right, well, I'm just going to get stuck into you. And does. Promptly goes for it. So we get the Stormbringer and Hellstrike Manticore into my warriors on the left. We've got Riftwalkers here and the Giant here. So he just goes on all three of them. So let's look at that. You can't actually see. There's his Gore Riders. Where's the big guy? I can't see. We didn't take a picture. I think he's gone all the way down the side. He's over here somewhere, being nimble. So I think I've turned enough so he has to go in the front. He does. Probably goes in the front. I mean, would I have done that? Probably. Probably because it's only kind of chaffy piece there, isn't it? Apart from these guys. So if he wants to stop my warriors running into things and come up and be threatening, that's sensible actually, because that's a good move, I'm going to say, because he's unlikely to kill on the counter charge, and then next turn he's got loads of stuff coming, so that's a good move. Okay, we'll take it. Yep, so he's basically able to pick his charges next turn, because I'm not going to kill anything here on a counter charge, and I've not got enough room to send these shock troops in, so something has to die. Likewise here, he's corrected his mistake in terms of orientation here, so he's able to come over next turn. But he wasn't able to get any Hellstrikers in, and he just sent in the Rift Walkers on their own. I'd have been tempted to get Thonar, get as much in as possible, to be honest. There's room. But he chose not to, so that's okay. 3 wounds there, 5 wounds there, and 6 wounds there. So the Giant is clearly the tougher of these fools. And then, that's it. Why am I showing you that again? That's very exciting. So, is there another wound? Why is? Oh, that's the drain life. So this is me coming back. So this is my turn, I guess. Yes, because that's my turn 3. So that's it for that turn. Very exciting. These wretches take 3 wounds from Riftwalkers, and they're okay. So on my 3 then. So I bring the shooting stuff over because I want to shoot on stuff on the hill. I can see very clearly. Go drain and just churn through this giant here as much as possible. Drain, come through here. Hold these guys in reserve, because even if he does come in, that means I can kill them, and I can kind of clap back, I suppose. I think he missed his hex that turn as well, because it doesn't look like anyone's hexed over here. So we yes. So the Hellstrike is now in a very dangerous position. Okay, because I can't stop. 20 inches is very far. One of them's nimble. Can't stop them coming over, and I can't just hang back. Flanks going on. So I send my War Chief in. I send my War Chief into these guys here, and then I weakness them. So I cast weakness with Tangle onto them as well. So he's defense 5, so it means he might last a couple of turns. Plus the gap here is so narrow, Thonar can't come and assist. So really, he's on his own against these giant flappy birds. We got come in for some Cloak of Death, so everyone gets Cloak of Death. You see there's a wound on everyone. And then we start to chop away at things. Now these guys are still dangerous over here. There's not so much they can charge. They can't see anything over here. These guys aren't chargeable. She's not chargeable. They're chargeable on their own, but I fancy my chances. Bit of a poor positioning actually. If you think about it, if I'd have moved a little bit like that, I could have said, well, you can charge me, but you're going to be hindered. Whereas as it is now, he fits nicely. There you go, weakness hits, which is great. 7 wounds. That's 7 wounds from all the shooting stuff, which is good, but they're still okay. And then look at that. Wow! So the warriors do 5 wounds against this giant, and I double 6 it, which means he's wavered. And he doesn't have fury. Warriors 2 wounds there, we're okay. On to Jake's turn. So this is what it looks like. So we have a wavered giant, which is very bad news. These guys are okay, these guys are okay. So he's going to have some juicy charges there. 7 wounds here. And I've managed to lock these guys up here. I don't think I did a wound or 2 wounds here, but they're not going to be able to kill me, hopefully, on the counter charge. So, yeah, that is his Cloak of Death. There's Cloak of Deaths everywhere. Of course, I've got Radiance Alive, so whatever. And then, yeah, so you can see there, that was my mistake I was talking about. I didn't position these guys correctly. And when he looked at it, this horde fitted perfectly in the gap for an unhindered charge. Don't like that. Got to put up with it, though. So there you go. Counter charges there. And so he just kind of goes for it. He's like, all right, balls to the wall. Let's go. We're in. So Gore Riders and the hero onto these warriors. We've got the... Posh, what are they called? Reborn Legionaries and the Riftforgers into these wretches. And on this side, the other Legionnaires, the Storm Giant just doesn't do anything. Over there. So Hex onto this Broodmother this time. So Hex is just churning off. Gamble paid off here. So we're up to 7 wounds but still alive. 4 wounds on my War Chief and he's okay. So we've managed to hold them back for a turn, which is jolly nice. So that is 6 wounds on the warriors. They're okay from that charge. Wow, look at that. So even with the Reborn Legionaries and the Riftwalkers, he puts them up to 15 wounds and doesn't roll the requisite 6 to take them off twice. Not even once. And even worse, that's terrible, isn't it? He double ones these guys, so 11 wounds here. So the Gore Riders really messed it up. Yeah, really poor. Double one it. I should sound more sympathetic. Even better, these guys, I was really scared about this charge. Puts them up to 11 wounds, which is a lot, but they survive it, which is superb. On to turn 4. This is how we look at turn 4. So it's going okay. It's going okay, but I'm in a hairy position. I need charges to come off here. This was a bit of a thing because now I've got a flank, right? You can see very clearly I just take a new charge. It is hindered, but if I can get the Birthing Daughter from here just close enough, it won't be hindered because they are expendable. Got some shooting still going here. These guys are holding strong. Plus, if I come into the flank here, then I'll be able to get some double charges going off here with some shot troops. So it's all looking nice. This is less good. I mean, it's really not. These guys in the backfield is really poor. So I might need to bring the shooting over to deal with them. Just need one more turn surviving here. I'm really happy that Thonar has been kept out of the war until now. So let's see. So yeah, there's my flank. So I don't manage to... I don't bring these guys over to shoot. Instead, I decide that I'm going to take out the Storm Giant. Seems like it seemed like a good idea at the time. Managed to position all my noses out of the wood, so there's no cover. That flank is happening there. You can see I did bring the Birthing Daughter over, so we've got unhindered flank. The wretches are just taking these guys on their own. Let's see how that happens. And I honestly can't remember who the warriors charge. We'll have a look in a minute. We'll work it out. Oh, we'll work it out. I think it might be the Gore Riders. It might be these guys because they're already wounded. Who knows? Could be anyone. And that's just still happening. I turned these guys around because I couldn't see them and I had no support for this unit, which is going to die. So I turned these guys, so at least I've got some support here. Plus, I can still go here. Right. So the shooting puts the Storm Giant up to 15 wounds and kills him. Boom! Weapon teams are amazing this particular turn. And that is some more shooting. Drain life? Did I drain him off? Or did I hit him off? I hit him off. So I countercharged them. I guess with the warriors with some drain life support. Got rid of them. Nice. And finally clear out Riftwalkers, which is great, except that I've now got Thonar back in the game, which is less good. 5 wounds there, which is very, very poor showing from shock troops onto them, so that is not good. And that's wavered. Yeah, look at that. So that's like 9 wounds onto these Legionnaires. I did waver them though, so he's got his Aura of Fury, so he can countercharge me. Can't do anything nastier though. Oh, the warriors. Okay, well, maybe it's just drain life killed them. Legend. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? And the warriors tried to kill this flying guy because they want flying guy in the backfield and didn't succeed. On to Jake's turn 4. So this was right. So you notice the Riftforged hasn't actually teleported. How did that happen? So we had a discussion about this and we thought it was jolly clever. Here he is. Right. Let's see, there goes the wide shot. There he is. Right. So he said, well, look, I can see your shock troops and I can individual turn to face this way, come up here and then go once and then twice and in. Right? And I was like, gosh, that's clever. And so we did it. Of course, you have to be able to see the target after you've done the individual turn. So if he did turn to face that way, he of course could not see them, so it was totally not something he could do. But at the time, we thought it was really cool and clever, and we both agreed that it could be done, and so it was done. So, no shade from me. I will say he did blame the idea on Matt Gorham, so take it, Matt. So there you go. So those are going to explode. What's that? It's a picture of a table, really close up for reasons I don't understand. So the Riftforger, who's been hexing stuff, says, right, I'm going to take on these wretches all by myself. They're on 14 wounds. I could do that. Probably can. And they countercharged into the warriors. Couldn't do anything else. I think he just continued to smash these warriors, so they're going to die. He's still got another unit of legionnaires to come. This is worrying. This is a concern. Unopposed. Okay, and that is a Host Shadow Beast. So he did he? Oh no, it was Host Shadow Beast from the shrine onto him. There you go. And that's a Bane Chant. So the shrine, of course, can chain Bane Chants and Host Shadow Beast, and he proceeded to do so, which is great. And there's another one. Boom! Everyone gets it. You get a Host Shadow Beast. You get. Oh, he did it to himself. That guy Host Shadow Beasted himself. And then Thonar decided to kill wretches. Oh, and that's and then they murdered my war chief, which is fair because he deserved it. We really should have done that. They have been weakened again, you'll notice, but didn't matter. Yep, so those shock troops carked it. That's bad news for me. And then he overran, annoyingly out of my charge arc, so nothing can see them now, which is very vexing. And then he overran even more with the Hexcaster, with the Riftforger. So we're going to have to try shooting stuff. They can't do anything next turn, so there's that. And we're on turn 4. So there you go, 14 wounds there and wavered. Is that his waver or my waver? Let's say it's my waver. It doesn't matter. And just look at that. Absolutely beefed up Riftforger, smashed the wretches into tiny pieces, and now he's going to get shock trooped. And those warriors finally died. 4 turns. 3 turns, 4 turns. Yeah, swig a drink. That's very nice. And so he ended up like this. So he stepped the hero across, the Stormbringer, and these guys I think maybe came forward. I don't know. This is how we're looking now. So turn 5 for me, and this is how the lay of the land looked. Don't forget, we are playing control. At this point, I'd completely forgotten about the scenario, and I was just playing kill, which is not sensible. So I've got 2 hordes of shock troops, which is great, against which he has got a regiment of legionnaires, a regiment of gore riders, a flying hero, a Riftforger, and a shrine. So, not right. I've got Broodmom as well. Still got my 3 shooting guys. These guys are here. These guys are a serious concern. So, troop-wise, I've got a lot of killy stuff left, but he's got both hordes of Hellstrikers, and he's still got a lot of his infantry left. So it's very much hanging in the balance. So this is what we do. Wretches go into Thonar, and I jump Mother Cry. She walks through the troops and turns right because she is going to lightning bolt these guys to try and waver them at the minimum. We just stay here with these. Yep, because nothing can hurt them, and we want the unit strength over there. I bring my shooting over here, so we're going to do some shooting with cover into these Hellstrikers, along with Drain Life. In fact, lots of shooting with cover. We countercharge again here. We take these shock troops into the Riftforger. We hit on the plague plots finally. These guys come into the cavalry, hitting on the plague plots as well. And the Broodmother jumps into this Stormbringer and Hellstrike Manticore to try and just lock him down so he can't charge anything. Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's not. They're only on 6 wounds, so it's not unprecedented. But I rolled double 1, so we take a picture when you take it when we roll double 1, don't we? Of course. However, look at that. Yay! So we get him up to 10 wounds, which isn't a great deal, but then I roll the requisite 7 twice. Or even 7 once, because there's no inspiring. Yep, so I roll the 7 to take them off, so that's 1 worry out of my mind. These shock troops completely poop the bed, though, so 5 wounds on a Riftforger and he's fine. These warriors do not. So the warriors perform better than the shock troops, and we killed that regiment, which means I've got my warriors in the backfield, which is nice. Even better, we managed to waver his gore riders with these shock troops, so that's good. We do a wound, I think, to the Stormbringer. So on to Jake's turn 5. So they're wavered on 10 wounds. That's there you go. So these guys, how is that possible? Didn't notice that at the time. Oh, they're dead. That's why. It's the other ones. Oh, wow, look at that. That's good. Sorry, what to say. It's the double one ones over there. Right, so they had a choice of targets, and they looked over here and thought, all right, we're coming into the Broodmother. I'm not sure I would have done that. I think, have come into the Birthing Daughter. Who was the weakest? I think maybe it was to stay out of charge arcs. I don't know. Anyway, well, there was reasoning, definitely, but they're on 7 wounds, so you're going to get shot. Anyway. And the Riftforger, very killy one, comes into this war machine. Probably like to kill it quite nicely. Thonar just continues to whack wretches. For reasons. But he can't do anything else, the poor bugger. I mean, I suppose at this point he could have kind of popped around the side and done something more useful, but this unit strength and then wander off and claim the table segment. And he can kill them, in which case I'm going to struggle. I've got Mother Chrysler though, so maybe. Legionnaires coming to the Broodmother because this guy simply turned. He's taller than the Broodmother, so he turned and came into the shock troop horde because getting rid of that unit strength is far more important. It's Host Shadowbeast time. Banechant. Host Shadowbeast there, Banechant here, so it's all kicking off. There you go, 11 wounds. 11 wounds and we're okay. Thonar does smash it. However, what was that, 17 wounds? Oof. I think only rallied once, maybe rallied twice. Yeah, he'd need a 6 twice to kill him, so he didn't get what he needed. So dice turning against him at the end here, which is poor. However, the Broodmother does die from those Hellstrikers, which is distressing for me. But now he's looking down the rear of my warriors. We don't like that. And only a waver here from the Riftforged, but it doesn't matter because it's out of commission, so it might as well have just done its job. Host Shadowbeast is fine, but he's still only hitting on 4, so 2 wounds on those shock troops. 7 wounds on the Broodmom. She's okay as well. And we're into the last turn. Gosh, that went past quickly, didn't it? And this is what we do. So we all hit Thonar. We just turn these guys because they are just claiming a table segment at this point. We turn all my shooting to shoot these guys. We're going to fireball, shoot, shoot, shoot. That's just going to sit there. The warriors charge across the table into the shrine. He can still rear charge me if he survives. Counter charge here, counter charge here. I think I counter. Why do I counter charge him? I think I didn't want him flying around. That's right. I had to charge him because if I didn't hit him, he could just turn and fly off to claim a table segment. So I locked him into here because I have got 8 unit strength in my segment and 5 unit strength here. Yeah, in his table segment. Whereas he's got 3 in mine and 4 in his. So at the moment, it's looking very tasty. I just need to lock things down. That's the shooting. Is that all the shooting did? Really? What were they on before? 6. That's that's Cloak of Death. There's Cloak. Is it? No, it's not Cloak of Death. I did 1 wound. Wow. From 23, 34 shots. One wound. That's 5, man. Some wounds, some wounds, some wounds. So I do kill the Hellstriker hero, which is superb news for me. Oh, there you go. There you go. It's okay. I did 1 wound and then rolled a 10. It's just rude, isn't it? Oh, man. Oh, I didn't. Look, you think I did. I'm like, it's gone. The unit's gone. Nah, it's over here. I did 1 wound and didn't roll a 10. Screw me, right? This is his turn 6. Jake's clock is absolutely run down by this point, by the way. He is on very little time, so he's just like chucking stuff in. It's like, right, okay, well, yep, no, I'm going to come in here, and we're going to do this, so... And then these guys jump over here to try and kill this horde, and then he clocks out. That's the thing, there is his clock. So, that's where he clocked out, which is a shame, really. And really, he spent quite a lot of time on turn 2, maybe, when this was all being gummed up. And he was like, I don't know where the time went. I don't know where the time went either, because I really wasn't paying attention. But if you imagine the lines across here, and then here, and maybe it was here like that. So I've got 8 in this table segment. I've got 4 here, 2, 4. So that cancels out as a 0. That's 1 for me, 2 for me, 3 for me. Something like that anyway. Because this guy actually ends up over here, so he jumps it out. He could have... maybe the table segments are more like that, I think. Because I think I claimed this one for 2. Whereas if he'd have rear charged here, he would have claimed that one back again. I don't know, whatever. I won, so poor Jake. Yeah, good game. Lovely guy. Such a nice guy. Really enjoyed playing him again. We are now 2-1, so ball's in his court. Maybe he challenges me for a rematch. We'll see. Let's go on to game 4 with 2 wins and 1 very narrow loss. So that puts me on table 2, which is very exciting. If you get excited by things. Last year, for reference, I was on table 1, so maybe I'm just getting worse. Against David, who was last year's winner. Last year he bought Green Lady, this year he bought Dwarfs. Chance David, beforehand, he said he doesn't really play Kings of War anymore. He mainly plays Dead Zone and Warpath. But he felt he had to come back and defend his title. And it seems he's doing okay. Since he's on table 2. Wow, look how grainy this screenshot is. I need to get a new dwarf background. Anyway, so he's bought a very typical dwarf list. He's got 3 regiments of Iron Guards, all of which have got Throwing Mastiffs. Those are Defense 6 guys. And then 2 regiments of Ironclads, who also have Throwing Mastiffs. A lot of Mastiff fun going on there. He's got 3 troops of Sharpshooters. Very on vogue, Sharpshooters. I don't get it. Sorry. I just think they're a waste of points. But it's just 100 points is not a lot, I guess. But you used to get a wound per turn off them. I'm like, what's the point? A regiment of Berserker Block Riders with Blessing of the Gods. 2 Mastiff Hunting Packs. A Steel Behemoth, which he's upgraded to be Golok's Fury, which gives a Wild Charge Aura and Iron Resolve. He's got a Stone Priest, to whom he's given Radiance to Life, the Edge Periscope, Bane Chant, and Alchemist Curse. So another multi-tool caster, making him pretty expensive. A Berserker Lord on a Brock with the Gnome Glass Shield. So defense 6 until you hit him once. Faber Ironheart, my most loathed character in all of Kings of War, because I never ever managed to kill him. And then 2 Dwarf Lords on large beasts. Defense 6, very nasty. This is exactly the sort of list I don't want to see with my list, which hits on 5s and has no crushing strength, right? So it's all defense 6. It's all defense 6. Anyway. And I'm back on this table again. It's this table we started on. Crappy hills. Stop complaining about hills. Sorry. 2 flat, 2 height 6, 2 height 9 forests, 2 height 2 walls. And we are playing Kill the General, which is a custom scenario. So it's kill, just regular old kill. But you get 2 extra points if you kill your opponent's general. And your opponent's general is their hero with the highest nerve. So in my opponent's list, David's list is one of the Dwarf Lords, because they're nerve 17. Apart from that, it's kill. So we set up like this, right? I am all on one side in a little box, and he's spread like this. Now, why did I set it like this? Because, I'll tell you why. So we were next table to me, on this side, Tom Robinson, best player in the world, was facing up for his 2nd game of the tournament against the same shooting elf list, and he looked rather unhappy about it. And his deployment was like, there he is. There's his deployment, and he's like, yep, I'm not playing. I'm like, cool, I'm not playing too. So I remembered that Elliot Morris, one of Tom's fellow Northern Kings, told me once the best way to play kill is to cast it in a corner and then feed them a unit at a time while you kill their stuff. So that's what I'm doing. I'm copying Tom Robinson. I thought Tom and James, who's the elf player, were on table 1. Turns out they were on table 3. It's very exciting. that way is actually table 1. But more about that later. There he is again. Look at all this, there's so much shooting. Awful. Right, so the dwarves have set up like yay. So, oh god, I never know which are iron guard and which are ironclad. Let's say doesn't matter. Whatever. Brock riders, which are these guys on little mine carts. We've got sharpshooter. Oh no, hang on. Sorry, sharpshooter, and there's no one here. Sharpshooter, right? Mastiff pack. Right, so his dwarf kings are all over here, which is great for me. Oh, excuse me. This is his general, denoted by the green token. God's Fury is here. Faber Ironheart is here. That is the Brocklord, a little minecart, and the priest is hiding somewhere. So basically, I'm quite pleased about this because I can deal with this stuff before I have to deal with this stuff. Because I've... Oh, there you go. It's quite a nice little theme, isn't it? Look at that. I like it. Couldn't we guess from this which of the Iron Guard? No, we can't. He did tell me there was some clue. I think barrels was Iron Guard. Oh, God. Yeah. Like I said, it's not important. So this is how I set up myself, and I won first turn, which is great, and I took it, and I just pushed the hell forward as fast as I can. So don't mind being in terrain. He has got quite a bit of shooting, which is okay because my wretches or whatever, because they're only defense 2 anyway. He can chop all he likes. All my killy stuff is kind of here. That's like the kill zone. So when he comes into these guys, we've got the kill zone ready to go. That's lightning bolt onto some sharpshooters. Might as well start as mean to go on. And onto his turn 2. Oh, look at that. The whole time we've been saying impassable is height 6. It's actually height 9. Didn't come up even once, so we don't care, right? There you go. So Mastiff run forward. He brings his Brocklord around here, the Gnome-Glass Shield guy. I've got a plan for him. And then Faber and Golok are here to just like start hammering me with shots along with the other sharpshooters. He did have a problem with his sharpshooters because I'm so low and I'd hidden in the corner. These ones and these ones had a terrible time trying to shoot anything. Great for me. Yeah, got a shot onto my warriors for a point. Oof! That's Faber and Golok. So 9 wounds onto those warriors. Ouch. Onto turn 2. So I was like, alright, fine. Don't care. Here we go. So off a hill, those wounded warriors go into Golok. So he mismeasured a little bit, allowed me that charge. That allows me to block everything here for a turn. Meanwhile, these wretches came out of the forest into these mastiffs. Okay? And then, stupid hill, but these guys are on it. These guys are on it. These guys are on it. We're just ready to go. Very short range charge, so they can't charge me. I'm out of range of the Brocklord here. And he can't turn these guys to get in. So we're okay for the turn. Start shooting things. That's his turn 2, so I guess I didn't do anything. Oh look, I killed the Mastiffs, hurrah! That was my turn 2, I was showing the dice, took it for a second time for reasons I don't understand. So I killed the Mastiffs with the unhindered wretches, of course, because of the aura. See, it's a great aura, the Birthing Daughter, it's brilliant. So that's great, it allows me to block things up even more. 6 wounds for my shooting onto those Brocks. Defense 4 does not like piercing 1 shooting at all. I don't think I do anything to Golok's Fury, because why would I? Turn 2, so he takes the charge with pretty much everything he's got there into those guys. The Brocklord comes around here. I'm really to enact my plan. And then everything else comes into the warriors, so these guys come over here. I don't know what they are. Could be anything. The dwarves. And Faber and Golok tries to kill them. They're on 9 wounds. He's kind of pondering around here. I didn't talk about mastiffs yet. So when you come up against dwarves with lots of mastiffs like these guys, the last thing you want is to give them the opportunity to throw them all at the same time. Because 5 regiments of mastiffs is just going to decimate anything. So my tactic is always to try and persuade them to piecemeal throw mastiffs. To chuck them one at a time, one every now and then. You could use this one. So they waste them. Right? That's the trend. He's used one of them so far, so we're getting there. 2 wounds there from something. Maybe that's sharpshooters, who knows. And the other sharpshooters do 2 wounds onto these shock troops. They're okay. A Bane chant? Alright, chill out. It's only warriors. And of course, he blows them into smithereens. Giant amount of wounds there, so everything dies. Well, not expected. As do those wretches. So it's clearing out the chaff is definitely a good thing to do. And he turns like yay, so he backs up his Brocks into my turn 3, and this is how the board looks. So he is getting into the curve of doom. That's not where I want to be, but you know, it's not unexpected. He's very slow. Sharpshooters now are blocked from seeing anything, which is lovely for me. And this lot is about to die extremely painfully, but I'm about to throw out my trump card, which is Mother Chrysler's Cloak of Death. The Gnome Glass Shield does not like Cloak of Death. It shatters instantly, and then you're into Defense 4, which is always fun. So off we go. So Mother Chrysler comes over here, Cloak of Death's in, there's wounds everywhere. We come into these iron, whatever the hell they are, with my shock troops. We send some wretches over here to block things up again. And I send my War Chief forward, both to give his vicious aura here and here, but also because I'm going to come and start murdering sharpshooters if I can. Some Drain Life support, I guess, going on there. Drain Life and Inspiring. And we are shooting things. I think, yes. It's shooty time. We're going to try and kill those Brocks. Over here, I'm just kind of cagily holding back outside of 8. I Bane Chanted my Wretches, which is brave. Oh, I think that's because maybe these are Defense 6. Defense 5, whatever. Wretches, Bane Chant. Go! Shooting there happens really well, so we smash that. I think that was an erroneous Bane Chant. I think I really should have Bane Chanted these guys, because I think these are Defense 6 ones. Anyway. Mother Chrysler likes fighting Brocklords. He's up to 4 wounds. Not so great there. Even with the Bane Chant. 2 wounds. So those iron, whatever they are. And we do indeed evaporate 2 units. So the shock troops evaporate the whatever they were, dwarves, and the shooting evaporates the Brocks. So looking good on this flank. Going to plan. Turn 3 for the dwarves. The sharpshooters seeing nothing better to do. Charge into my shock troops. Why not? And the Brocklord charges into a war engine, which is mean. And then he brings his stuff. I mean, it's hindered, but it doesn't really matter. Into the flank of these wretches to absolutely explode them, along with everything else. That's a Dwarf King into some warriors. He's going to spend the rest of the game there. And these guys kind of move up, go, we'd like to shoot something. We can't see anything. Ah, man. That's Faber and Golok shooting my Broodmother and wavering her. Rude. No wounds there, though, so swings and roundabouts. And he does, in fact, with his Brocklord, totally kill my weapon team. Turns like, yay. Gonna kill you next turn, just so you know. 5 wounds from the king there. All hail the king. Wow, that's a lot of wounds, isn't it? Wow, 6, 12, 18, 9, 20, 21 wounds and a double 1. That is bad news for dwarves. So, wretches on 21 wounds and then a double 1. Wow. So I'm still holding up Golok and Faber, which is great, but they are shooting me to the smack. On to turn 4. So I decided I don't like being shot by Golok, so the War Chief flanks him here. This is a pretty cool flank because look at what everything else is. He can't countercharge me. It's a little nuance of the rules that isn't very elegant, but chariot bases like that can't countercharge when next attack. And you think about it, it's kind of thematic, kind of works because it's a giant war engine. How could it turn to attack? It physically can't, right? So he's just there chopping away at it. That's my thought. Countercharge here. We come round, so we're going to shoot the Brocklord, I think. Countercharge here. We take a flank with the shock troops out of the woods into this regiment. We did hit on the old plague pots. A bit of a mistake from me on this Dwarf King down the bottom, I shall show you. I've stacked too closely. So even if I slide along to halfway, so from here, these guys cannot turn to get in. So if you're going to block up like this, you need to check a board. I should have had them further across. So all I can do is sidestep with them to hope I can... So I sidestep now, so next turn I can come in. That wasn't great for me. We do kill the Brocklord with some shooting. We do kill the sharpshooters, so I have managed to wipe out this side. A turn later than I'd like, but doing well. We waver this unit, which is not ideal because, hello, it's flank town, population me. 2 wounds onto the king and onto turn 4 for David. So, counter charge here and a flank here. It's hindered flank. but don't hold out a lot of hope. And then some, just smash face onto those already extremely hurt wretches. Countercharge here. 5 wounds. Not sure what's going on. Oh, the Brood Mother's been killed. I was shooting from Faber. We did do a wound here, by the way, so Golok is stuck. And of course, another 6 wounds onto these wretches. They're dead. Oh, only 9 wounds. That's bad, isn't it? It's not great. I guess the hindrance here and the ensnare here really damaged their ability to damage me. So 9 wounds and we're okay, which is super. Only another 2 wounds there from the king. He's not having a good day. He's going to get charged again. Turn 5. Wow, let's go. So at this point, I'm kind of feeling a little bit more positive, but it's not looking great because this is kill and I have to kill points. And I cannot bloody wipe out units. I'm getting into the position I want to be. I just can't kill things. So I spot something cool. We had a conversation about Golok where about the fact he couldn't countercharge me, blah, blah, blah. And he said I might back him up. By that point, it was, maybe I should back him up. This was in his combat phase. And I said, well, if you want to, go ahead. Well, I don't mind, because I didn't think it would affect me. And he ummed and ahed, and he said, you know what, no. I said, don't mind if you want to. No. He said, no, it's fine. And then I looked at it when it came to my turn and went, oh, wait, no, I've got a flank. Shock troops off a hill into the flank of Golok there. So, we crack into it. So, a flank into Golok's flank, which worked. With play pots on, so we're going to take some charges there, which is not unsurprising. We can't charge. What happened there? Oh yeah. Oh, he died. Oh, did we? No, he didn't die. What? Oh, wretches died, didn't they? I'm sorry, I'm losing track of my mind here. So we counter charge here because they've got more wounds, so I'm more likely to kill them. It's all about points, and then we bang both into the king here. This is the king that's the general, slightly irritating. Obviously, Mother Cries was my general. She's hiding because you don't want to get shot. So that is just... Yeah, that's the same again. Ah, okay. Yeah, no, sorry. God, what is wrong with me? Obviously, Golok's not there anymore in this screenshot because I've killed him and then overrun. So, yay! Killed Golok. That's a lot of points. 12 points of damage and a wave onto this unit is just appalling rolling. They go from 10 to 12. Defense 6 is just so irritating. And we waver this king. How many points? So with 4 wounds is rubbish. So to both. Oh, God. Defense 6 is so good and so hard to kill. Oh, it's 10 wounds. No, it's not. It's 4 wounds. It's 10 wounds. 10 wounds. I missed a dice. Holy cow. Okay, it's not that good then, is it? 10 wounds and a waver. Do you feel I'm rather losing track of the battle report at this point? I was doing very well, I feel. At this point, it's just all going to pieces. Clearly, I'm as excited now as I was then. It's actually quite chill at this time. So some waivers, no kills, which is irritating, which means he can send his Mastiff pack, back this guy up. On his turn 5, I want to say. Didn't take a picture of the turn dice because I'm incompetent, which is what's not helping me. And now all the regiments come in here, so this waver is annoying because it means comes in here. Going to lose a horde. And then, so into ensnare there, not worried about that. Faber's shooting something. He's shooting a war engine. When he wavers it, it's not dead, so I'm quite happy about that. 2 points there, they're okay. And that's the horde, obviously died. I did indeed lose a horde. This birthing door is like, what the hell? 3 points there, so that's ensnare for you. Doesn't do much. And on to turn 6, right, now turn 6. So, rushing, because as usual, running low on time, a 55-minute clock and 2,500 points is impossible. We kill the Dwarf King. Yes! That is another hefty wadge of points. Really happy about that. 6 damage and a waver on that regiment, though, so that's less good. We try to shoot stuff. I don't really succeed. That's as much as I can kill. And his turn 6. There's a chance that this is what it looks like. So he has got a horde of warriors, a horde of shock troops, right? All ready to be taken. Who's on the most wounds? These guys with 7 wounds. These guys have only got 2. Oh, we killed the Mastiff hunting pack as well. He's got 1 regiment, 2 regiment. He's got 1 sharpshooter, 2 sharpshooters, a king. This guy with his alchemist curse, and Faber. These guys are wavered. So everything that can goes into these shock troops. He sends these guys into the flank of the warriors, these guys into the front of the shock troops with Ensnare. Ooh, that was with the Bane Chant as well, so he puts them to 14 wounds and they survive. Even better, look at that, 20 wounds. 20, whoa, steady on, that's exciting. 20 wounds, he doesn't kill them either, he needed a 3, maybe he did kill them. I think he might have done 20, well, unless he rolled a double 1. I would have taken a picture though, surely. There would be a 22, 24, I think he rolled a 3 with Rally, 22, 24 maybe. Not sure, they didn't kill him anyway. That was the end of the game. And I did actually pull out the win. Just so you need like 200 points more, something like that, to get the win. And I won on this one. However, it was a low scoring win because I just couldn't kill enough of his stuff. Very frustrating. So about 3 wins and a very close loss. I was like, ooh, because I thought Tom Robinson's table was table 1 and they drew. And I was like, ho ho ho. Maybe I've leapfrogged into first place. Actually, they were table 3. UK number 1, Chris Lynch won, of course, because he was on the top table and crushed his opponent. But I did win Best Sporting. Look at that! Most Sporting. I've never won a Most Sporting trophy, ever. I was really chuffed. And I think from what Sharad the TO said, I think there was probably quite a few people who got the same number of votes. So I don't know how they decided it. But anyway, he gave it to me. I'm still taking it. And I'm still very grateful to my opponents that said I was a fun person to play. Really nice. That made me feel really happy. Anyway. That's the end of this tournament report. Hope you enjoyed it. The rat list definitely works. It's very, very hard to deal with because it's just so much bloody nerve. Really efficient. Just nothing matters in the list. If something dies, you've got 3 more of them. Doesn't bloody matter. The shooting is very good. It's a really good combined arm list. So, you know, a proper version 2 style Ratkin list still really, really works. I'm really happy with it. I'm going to shelve the rats for a bit now. I'm working a little Nightstalker army for a bit of fun. But I'm not going to be playing until November because I'm TOing a couple of tournaments. One of them is called Clash of Kings. You might have heard of it. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll be back soon with some Clash of Kings coverage because it's only 3 weeks to go. So look forward to that. The live stream link is already up and we'll have some videos going on as well. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time on Death by Dragons.